everyone, I'm Soporific, and welcome back to another episode of xSoporific Talks. Now, y'all are in for an episode today. Now, if you saw the last episode of xSoporific Talks, I spun the wheel, and the topic that I got is totally different than the topic I'll be talking about in this video, as you can tell from the title. And I'll get you guys that topic just soon. I just had to talk about this because it just happened. So if you guys didn't know, I recently got picked up by an electrical company, and my first day was Monday of this week, so the 23rd of January was when I started the job. And this was after weeks and probably a month of just going back and forth of talking about the transferring, because I was in a job currently and doing the OSHA 30 course just so I can, get a card to be qualified and join this company. I talked with a guy, let him know that I was new. I just graduated trade school. I was looking for work to do in electrical so I can expand my electrical knowledge. He said they were desperate for guys and were willing to take anyone, so he got me on, and I started Monday. So that Monday, I had to wake up at 5:20 because this route that I had to take to get there was way longer than my last job, which if you don't know about my last job, I was working in construction on an apartment building. I talked about my work experience there in a previous xSoporific Talk episode, so make sure you guys check that out if you haven't. But anyway, continue on with this story. I woke up at 5:20 Monday, got ready for work, took a 30-minute drive, got there with a few minutes to spare, but the way my directions took me, it wasn't the way I was supposed to go. So I called my new foreman. He had to give me directions and guide me into, getting into the site, which is a whole thing. Because of that, I kind of got in later than the time I was supposed to, but it was alright. He said it was my first day, so he can excuse it. The area I had to drive into was just a mixture of dirt, rocks, dust, and mud. And everybody was just parked there. It's 6:30 in the morning, so it's pitch black. I get my stuff ready, head to the trailer where my foreman was, introduced ourselves, gave me a sign-in sheet, talked about what I have to do for my first day. Had to go to orientation to sign a few stuff, go over the site rules and regulations and all that. And after that, I got assigned to a partner, and we worked together for a little bit. And the construction site we were working on was in the city, Jersey City. So this was a commercial field. We were working on a tall building. It was supposed to have 36 floors, but so far they only got 14 floors done. But yeah, first day, worked with my partner a little bit. If he sent me to do something, I did it. And the most electrical work I did while working there was just running wire. We were running this huge wire and went to hang it up, which was a whole hassle in itself. Also, not to forget the fact, this is early in the morning, winter time, and we're working near the pier. So the ocean's right next to us, and you got this brutal wind just blowing all day. So every day I went to a job, it was just freezing cold with blowing winds. And it even rained a few times, so just when you thought it couldn't get worse, it did. But yeah, after that, 9 o'clock came. That was supposed to be our break time. They didn't let me know how break was took or the time limit we had on break. But for the first day, I treated it like a break in my last job. We just sat in a car, waited at least 30 minutes and went back to work. And 10 minutes after sitting in my car, I heard an air horn being blown 3 times. And look around the corner, there's a whole food truck coming. So here comes a Spanish guy with a truck full of breakfast items, stuff for lunch fried rice and chicken, empanadas. He had those little cereal bowls and a whole jug of milk. He had a whole bunch of drinks. And this is an everyday thing. He'd come twice in the morning where everybody just got to work. And again, once it was break time at 9. So if you didn't have time to make breakfast or pack at lunch, he was there. Grab what you wanted, pay for it, and you got it, which I thought was pretty cool. I only grabbed 2 things from the truck in total. That Monday I grabbed an egg and cheese and sausage sandwich, but I don't eat meat, so I just took the sausage out. But that still cost me $5, which I thought was ridiculous, but I was hungry. And yesterday, at the time of me recording this video, I brought a Frosted Flakes cereal, which was $3, which I still think is a bit high, because I'm pretty sure I can find that same bowl cheaper in some other stores. But anyway, so that was that. After some time, went back up, ran some more wire up with my partner. It was a little bit of a struggle of running stuff and getting them to hang. That's literally what we were doing all day. Anyway, fast forward some time, lunchtime, got a 30-minute lunch. So I went to the car, sat down for a bit, drank some water, watched some YouTube videos on my phone, and got back to work. Run the same wire all day until it was time to go, and that was the first day. Didn't even get to use any of my electrical tools. All day, just stayed on one floor doing the same thing. And it just wasn't good. I didn't like it, but I'm this is my job now, so I'll just deal with it and hopefully things get better. Fast forward throughout the week, it'll be the same thing, just running wire, hanging it up, cutting wire, marking it with spray paint and electrical tape. Sometimes my other partner would call me for help, which would be moving stuff boxes or wire spools to different floors, which is the whole thing. We had to get a pallet lift and get the wire spools, put it on it, which was super heavy, by the way. Then we had to maneuver in the hallway, making sure it didn't break any of the sheetrock or mess with any of the other workers' stuff that was piled in the hallway. Then we had to get to the hoist, we had to call the hoist. Hey, we got to pick up on, floor 2. And then we had to wait for the elevator. He comes, we push it onto the elevator, take us to the floor, we push it off, leave it there, and then we had to keep going back up and down until we transferred all the spools of wire. There was even one point where the pallet jack got stuck in between the elevator and the platform we were supposed to get off, so it took a whole bunch of people to come help us and get it unstuck. Plus there were 2 hoists, and 2 different people were operating those hoists. One was a Spanish guy, he was cool, and the other was this old bitter man. I did not like him at all. He was super sarcastic, always got something negative to say. He was always smoking, and because he mans the hoist, he had the whole hoist, which is basically an elevator. He had the whole hoist smelling like cigarette smoke, which I hate cigarette smoke. Even when we got out of the elevator, when people be smoking like that for a while, they smell like cigarettes. It's just a disgusting smell. It wasn't pleasant, and I just didn't like him. But that was just the majority of the work I did at the site for the time, just running wire and transporting stuff on different floors. So yesterday, I met my second foreman. His name was Carlos. He was a Spanish guy. The first foreman I talked to him on the first day was this guy named CJ. CJ was more chill, but Carlos, oh my gosh. Okay, first, let me describe how our conversation went. He came to me yesterday. He's like, okay, I'm Carlos, I'm your second foreman. He's like, you worked in a building like this before? I'm like, nah, this is my first time. He's like, you have any experience in electrical? And I was like, only the 9 months I learned in trade school, which I just graduated from. And he's like, oh, you just graduated? Expecting you to be a little experienced. I was like, yeah, but I let the guy who recruited me onto this job know that I was new and I was looking to, expand my electrical knowledge. Most of the stuff we're doing in this building is new to me. He's like, oh, all right. He's like, well, if that's the case, you got a lot to learn. He's put me to work. He had me take a hammer drill and dig out a hole in the third floor because he had to run pipe, and it was a whole thing. I'm telling you, this man was like a hothead. I don't know why. Maybe because I'm the new guy, but this man was just on me like white on rice. Like, if I had to explain it in gaming terms, let me take a game like Resident Evil and compare it to my two foremans. The chill foreman I was talking to you about, CJ, he was like Mr. X. He's just constantly just walking around the place. But this man, Carlos, this man was like the nemesis. This man's always on his feet, moving, make sure you do this. He always has something to say. He was a lot more aggressive, and it seemed that he was always looking for me for some reason. And this is unrelated, but this morning he came to me and my partner just running wire, talking about drinking a coffee, and when he was done with it, instead of throwing it out, he just threw it on the ground where we were working and just left. And like, it's stuff like that, man. Like, these guys just don't care, man. It just gets under my skin. But yeah, I did not like this guy. And we had each other's number. I had my partner's number, my foreman's number, for whenever they need me or I need to call somebody for help, I can call them. But I always dreaded having my phone that job. Because whenever I get a phone call, I'd be so scared. I'd be like, please don't let it be Carlos or another foreman. And then it ends up being them. I'm just like, oh my gosh. I just dreaded getting phone calls while working on that site. But yeah, I just kept working. Whenever I was confused about something, I made sure to, constantly ask. I'm going to fully understand what I'm doing. I don't want to mess up. So I don't want them to tell me to do something and I don't know what they're talking about. So I do my own thing, or what I think they're asking me, and then I do it and I mess up and then I have to go and fix my mistake, because I just waste time, and that's not really being much of a support. But yeah, I made sure I did what I was told. I followed instructions and asked questions, and I'm thinking things were going all right. Now, I'm recording this currently on Thursday. Wednesday, I got a text from the guy that recruited me on the job. He's like, hey, I went to the site, I talked to your foreman. He said you're not doing a good job, so I'm just asking you to work harder. I'm like, I'm doing everything I'm told. I'm doing everything I'm told, and I'm working at an efficient pace. I'm not sure what else I can do. I was like, all right, I'll try. Next day, did what I was supposed to. Listened to my foreman, did what they asked questions, really tried to put on my A game, and I think I did all right. Then, after I left work, I got a text. Let me read you what it says. Good afternoon. I just spoke to my foreman on site in General Super, and unfortunately, your work and abilities aren't what we are looking for. Please take your personal tools home today, and your week payroll will be deposited. We wish you the best, but unfortunately, we don't have a position for you going forward. Thank you. When I got that text, I was like, dang, I got let off. This is the first. But right after that, I'm like, I'm happy, because honestly, I did not like that job. I didn't like the conditions I was working under. I didn't like the road it took to get there. I didn't like my bosses. I didn't really like most of my coworkers, and I just didn't like the place. The environment was just bad in my opinion. But yeah, I was honestly thinking about getting a different job, and luckily, I have an upcoming job interview next week, so I got another potential job under my belt. But I'm just glad I'm out from this one, because I did not like working here. So I see this as a blessing. But yeah, back to no job. Well, at least for now, because I got a job interview coming, and if I don't get that job, I'm back on the search. But now that I'm unemployed, I got more time to, sit down and make the videos and do the things I want. So I'm gonna take this free time I have to, 1, get this video out, 2, watch whatever shows and movies I want to catch up on, and 3, of course, trying my best to upload some more YouTube videos. So yeah, that's it for today. That's all I want to talk about. My first and last week of work on this new job. Thank you guys for watching this episode of xSoporific Talks. Hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video I post. I'm Soporific, and I'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye.